Hi, you wonderful peoples of the internet. My name is Jack. This is the second part of my how not to make paw gloves video. I had a lot of fun making these little puppies, and I hope you have just as much fun watching the video. My hope here is to inspire you to be creative in your own little ways. So please enjoy. Okay, so now after sewing for spare time during 3 days, I have officially put the hand pads, the beans. I have successfully stitched it on by hand. Yeah, it was real fun, relaxing. I mean, if you're in a hurry, it's definitely not the way to go, but it worked out for me. Looks really good. At least from here it looks really good. Maybe not so much on the camera. Well, it turns out that making these little claws the way I did was a horrible idea.
The low temp heat guns still melted the plastic, and they're just not well designed enough for me to put them on the paws. So I'm gonna go with a different idea. This is based on my second reference sheet when I started incorporating the V arrow shapes. So I am going to, since it's a human hand paw, 5-finger paw, and I'm trying to get the human aspect of the paw, I am going to put little V's here. So instead of that design I had, I've got a little V cut. You can see a little bit of. And I'm going to paint it with this. I'm painting it before I glue it onto the gloves. But it's LA colors. And it's the color I wanted. It's ideal. I've heard stories of people using clear coat and making it last longer. I don't have any of that clear coat, but maybe I'll try it in the future if I keep using it. I've used fingernail polish as a makeshift paint for years, and it works pretty good. So, yeah. I have cut all of these real long, longer than need be, so that I can hold them like so to color them. And that way I don't make a big mess out of myself. And as I color it, you can see the shape better. It's like one of those V shapes that's on my second draft of my persona. Anyways, with them being long, I can trim them to fit. And then I plan on putting them over where the ends of my fingernails are, my actual hands underneath the gloves, thus giving it kind of a human look to the paw. And now you can see them all with the light green on them. They're all the V shapes, and I can make them smaller to fit pinkies and make them wider to fit thumbs, and that color should last for a good while. We just have to wait for them to dry. I have to wait for them to dry. So, now that my finger claws have dried, I'm going to size them to fit on the outer part of the glove, like so. Size them to the nails somewhat. To do that, I'm going to use the scissors to trim them up. And to keep them organized, I am going to trace my hand. That way I can keep track of where they go. Now I kind of sort these out because some of them have a little bit more color than others. Take the lighter ones, they'll be the pinkies. So I size it up like that. And I can tell that right about here. So literally right there at that line is where I'm going to be cutting that for the pinky. And then I usually do a similar base for this finger here. Those two fingers will be the same, and the thumb is special. Right there on that spot, I marked it. There's my thumb. Then I'm just going to continue. Now that I've got them all trimmed to the size I want, I'm wearing my little paw gloves here. And gotta decide specifically where I want it. Right about there. Okay, now that I have them all cut to the sizes I want them, I am going to attempt to glue them on. Now, I have learned that my fabric fusion glue, which works great for tacking fabric to fabric, does not work very well for putting cheap plastic nails on a fleece glove. So, I'm warming up my glue gun here. I do not recommend to anybody putting it directly on your thumbnail, but I don't exactly have a hand model here. Any kind of device like a hand model. There we go, leaving trails again. Oh yeah, that looks like class right there. Yep, that's not bad. Not exactly what I wanted though, but not bad. Let's see if I can do any better with the others. I certainly don't want it to melt the nail, but I also don't want it to be steaming hot when I put it on there and cause issues. I never was any good with these hot glue guns. Don't look very beautiful, but a little bit cleaned up after they dry, and I think they'll actually stay on there pretty good. Okay, hot glue was definitely the way to go. On the other glove, I just did some trimming of excess, which on this glove is different. It seems to squeeze out plenty in the center, but it's not really all that hard to fix or clean up, and they're really on there pretty darn good. And even if they did come off, they're easy enough to fix or replace. So yeah, real nice. Very anthropomorphic. So there they are. They have a fluorescent edge to them. I really like them, and they'll go together good with my my pelt colors. Real nice. Pretty decent for being junky and having no idea what I'm doing. Yay! I guess the next step will be doing the design when I put my pattern here. So we're going to be tackling the green stripe. It's shaped like an arrow that I put on the top of my paw on my fursona. So what I did was I measured out my hand, which comes to roughly 4 inches from here to here, and I made that said pattern here that is on the reference sheet. And I'm gonna cut it out here and then use it as a pattern to cut out the pieces out of the fleece that I have bought. Why fleece? Because it's gotta match the paws except be green. And yeah, the gloves are fleece for this this horrible paw experiment. So let's carry on with styling these paws. So, I cut out my shape, which I then transferred to a small piece of cardboard so that it's a little bit more sturdy. Then, I've got this lovely green felt. Well, this isn't felt. This is fleece, which is kind of like felt, kind of softer, a little bit more pliable. So now I've got 2 army stripe-like material. I'm going to cut that out. Cut it out. Looks something like that. It'll go on the wrist like that. That's where it'll sit on the glove. Like that. Okay, so I've got the material here. And that's about where I want it. So I'm going to get my little bit of glue out just so I have some tackiness. Now, it is important to always test material for material. I tested this and the glue earlier so that I could see that it would actually be tacky. Because it needs to be tacky for me. I just put a little bit on there. I know usually they don't want you to smear it around with the tip, but I do. Then you lay that down, hold it. As with most adhesives, it works out pretty good this way. You can do this with the low temp glue, but just be careful. Let's see. Add some resistance so it stays put. Just enough, and it's not seeping through the product. So, that's really good. That makes it tacky enough that I can sew it without having to pin it. And there you have it, my accents piece from my reference sheet. Nice and secure using glue and sewing it for the extra strength. Doesn't look too shabby. Doesn't look too shabby. So, yeah. Okay, so I have this access cord that I'm doing a stripe now that's all sewn and glued. It's kind of reflective. I like that. But now I'm just... Again, I'm using my low temp hot glue gun. I think I'm starting to finally get the hang of it. Anyways, I'm going to go all the way around that with the reflective material. And that'll be the accents. Go with my shiny fingernails.
Well, if you have watched the video this far, I really want to thank you for showing that much interest in it. I made these gloves my way of easy to find materials on my spare time. It's not the best way to do it, that's for sure. I highly recommend that you check out the links to the videos in the description below if you want to see videos that do a much better way of elaborating on things, explaining things, and showing you much higher quality ways of doing stuff. I will make more videos as I work on Jack, so stay tuned for that. Now they're done, and I love them. Oh, how I love them. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.